There's a new hot couple in the Vox Cascadia universe, and I hear wedding bells. And we'll tell you a little bit more about that soon. How you doing, buddies? Tyler, what's up?
Not much. Just kind of working. I'm painting on some terrain right now, trying to avoid the heat. But I plot away at stuff a little bit sometimes as we record.
For anybody who's not in the Pacific Northwest area, it is hot as balls here. It's like 100 degrees in July. We're like 20 degrees over the normal temperature for this time period.
And if you're not here, you probably don't know that air conditioning is not very common up here. I am lucky enough to have it in one room at my house, but that's about the only room that stays cool at all. So I'm sweating it out in my office for y'all tonight.
Thank you for joining us from the sauna.
For real, for real. Only if there was steam and nice wood paneling.
I mean, you just burn a little plastic. That'll give you the same effect, right?
Right, and probably some other effects that I do or do not want.
Connor, staying cool up north? It's a little cooler up there.
A little bit, but unfortunately, today is the last day of really hot for us. We're at low 90s for the past 3 days, which has been pretty hellish. But tomorrow we drop back down to low 80s, and we just bought an AC unit yesterday. So we've got 6 fans going on trying to spread the cool.
So it's just OnlyFans out of the Spanaway household?
It is indeed OnlyFans right now. In fact, I am shirtless, so if you tune into Vox Cascadia After Dark, you can get some of that action going on.
We keep joking about that, but we're gonna have to do it at one of these times if we keep it up.
I won't even pay for that. Also, Connor, you keep sending me those pictures anyways, so I don't, why'd I have to pay for it? You gotta tease me with it, buddy.
Well, I meant more for our beautiful listeners, and Tyler's right. We need to do a sexy calendar shoot like firemen do.
I mean, I am planning on a sexy calendar of all of our tournament winners. I think we will hit 12 after Killscream 3, so.
Oh, hell yes. This is going to be awesome. And yeah, but beyond that, I also thankfully already have a fantastic name for my own OnlyFans. That, of course, being Only Spans.
Nice. Is it gonna be a lot of like hot, I don't know, checking your insulin stuff?
Pretty much, yeah. I got to keep the insulin cool, so I might as well,
Connor, is there any other big news in your part of the world?
A little bit. I happened to get engaged in between the last recording, which was very exciting.
To who?
To obviously Sierra. Who else?
Oh, well, I thought you might, fall for that one of these days, but congratulations.
Congrats, man.
Thank you very much. We're very obviously excited. She knew it was coming somewhat. Like we had talked about it beforehand, but we had a little nice date in Seattle on Saturday and then got back from Seattle to our side of the water and went to the beach. And she was like, "Why do we need to go to the beach?" I'm like, "Because I have people there waiting for us," but I couldn't tell her that. So it was, I was like, "Oh, because it's really warm and I want to go to the beach and step in the water." But there was an ulterior motive all along.
So did you have friends and family there to see this joyous event?
Yes, we had my mom and some of my friends there taking photos, hiding like paparazzi.
Tyler, did you get an invitation? Because I must have missed that one.
Yeah, I didn't get an invitation. You better invite me to your wedding, man.
I figured, you guys might not want to drive out, and it was also a little bit spontaneous, but you will absolutely be getting invites to that.
Well, you said she knew about it, so how's that spontaneous?
Well, she knew that the proposal was coming because we had both ordered our rings together a couple of weeks ago, and they had arrived about a month or so ago. But I had to keep her on her toes for when it was coming, and I was waiting for the right moment.
Well, congratulations, and Sierra, welcome to the Kill Team family, I guess?
Vox Cascadia family. Mm-hmm, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she's helped us a bunch with logos and stuff now, so that and getting married in kind of hopefully cements the spot.
Yeah, I'm excited to show everyone her work here soon, as soon as we get everything else straightened out with that. So it's really cool.
Yeah, I'm glad she liked the process of designing. We'll have to either have an interview or something. I don't know. But I think that would be a cool topic. We'd have actual artists and her and some other people that have worked on the shirt designs and kind of talk to them about what got them into that and how they go about creating the designs. It'd be kind of neat.
So Connor got engaged. Tyler, anything that you've done that can then top that?
No, it's been my partner's birthday week. She's very, very into her birthday. Unfortunately, it happens to, coincide with the hottest week of the year every year. So we went over to the beach, saw some tide pools and stuff like that for her birthday. And other than that, it's been pretty low key. We've just been kind of laying low.
What beach did you guys end up at?
We went to, I forgot where it is. It's over in Florence. I'll have to look up the name of it. I'm horrible with beach names, but you go through this little, it was lowest tides of the year. Okay, so it was like King's Low Tide, I think is what it's called. And so with this beach, when it's an extra low tide, it like recedes enough for you to get out over onto this other beach that you normally can't access. So that was really neat, but you have to make sure you're back in time so that you don't get stuck.
If you've never been to the Oregon coast, it sucks for swimming, but it's really cool for exploring. And like you get the tide pools, like Tyler was talking about, and you can see some really neat stuff. It's don't, I mean, there's some surfing here, but you're not going to want to like jump in your swimsuit.
I used to do that when I was like a teenager and stuff. Man, we'd go so deep out into the water. Looking back on it now, I feel like I was fucking crazy.
Yeah, that riptide will take care of you. I was always terrified of it. We never got past our like knees at the most.
Oh, I mean, like we were probably like, I don't know, 100 yards out into the ocean, just swimming.
No, sir, I'm good.
Yeah, no, it was insane. I'm surprised parents let us do that. Never ever let anyone do it.
Well, I had a pretty quiet 4th of July weekend. I did a little event in Jenna's parents' neighborhood. Did a 4 mile run, getting ready for a run I got coming up this weekend. And Nick was down. We did a lot of YouTube watching, a little bit of painting, and played a tiny bit of Kill Team. And he beat me intercession versus the Brood Brothers. He beat me pretty soundly too. I've got a lot of work to do, and not a lot of time to do it before Tacoma comes up in like next week.
That's rough, man. You lost intercession with Brood Brothers. It seems like a gimme almost.
Yeah, I thought so too. Like he came out on Engage with pretty much everybody but his chainsword guys, and like I left him some shots, and he hit me pretty good. I brought the Patriarch and had used the get down Mr. President ploy a couple times and soaked up an extra probably 25 wounds into him. But yeah, I'm figuring the team out. Not quick enough, but it should be interesting when we get to Tacoma. They look really good though. I'm having a really good time painting them, and I think the schemes turn out really cool.
What I've seen of your scheme, it looks really, really nice. Like the box art, like usual, but incredible stuff.
Yeah, so at least I'm gonna go with they've been fun to paint. So you guys been painting on anything or got any games in lately?
I'm kind of working on like there's some scramble terrain for what is it, Chalnath, that you can get that's very hard to get your hands on, and I have like 3 sets of it, and I'm painting on one of those right now as we speak. It's getting in some like rough highlights and stuff like that for future oil wash and textures and stuff like that. So it really, really pops when I do that.
Tyler, is it those down statues and destroyed walls, and like there's the one that's like the sewer grate vent?
Yep, absolutely.
Nice. I just clipped out a bunch of that terrain over the weekend on Sunday. That was pretty much Sunday for me. I'm trying to get all my terrain at least clipped and primed.
It is disturbingly expensive if you look at it on eBay. It's like $170 for like the sprue.
Yeah, I was able, luckily enough, I got the box right next to me. I was able to pick up the entire, Sector Sanctoris box for decently priced, which was nice because it's about like 2 boards worth, give of like scatter and heavy terrain. It's definitely need a little bit extra.
That's really good. I've never been able to get that full box. I've gotten a couple of like just the sprues from people that are kind enough to donate them to me for the club, and then a couple of the commando or the old orc boxes had them also, and I've gotten a couple of those along the way.
Connor, you're on a real like terrain kick. In fact, tomorrow I'm doing some sketchy deal with somebody outside of Mox to pick up some terrain for you, right?
Yes, that is correct. I have been on a terrain kick. I always have enjoyed terrain. I think it's a super fun just like build process because for me it's a little bit less like I gotta worry about making all these operatives look cool like I just like to do with my Scutari, where each one's a little unique, precious baby to me. Terrain, I don't have to care about that. But at some point, I've got like 3 of those big giant boxes you can fit under your bed. That's like the clear plastic ones you can get from like a department store. I want to fill like 3 of those up so I can have like roughly, 10 tables worth of terrain available to me at any given time.
That's a good goal. Terrain is so much fun. I've been on a huge terrain kick lately. I think I have the most fun painting terrain, which is good because I paint a ton of it.
Terrain it's a super good palette cleanser. I think I've said this before, but if you're beating your head against a unit or a single figure, like being able to paint some terrain, have it kind of sloppy and have it look really nice is just it's really fun to paint if you haven't had a chance to paint terrain before.
Absolutely. It lets you test out new stuff too. You can try new techniques on it and not really be as afraid of it looking good. It's great to practice weathering. Yeah, absolutely suggest picking up and painting some terrain if you don't have any.
And if you just want to go like simple, what I often do before going back eventually and touching up all the details, just having fun with a dry brush, just like a tricolor dry brush where you do like, say a dark gray, a lighter gray, and like a pop of color through like silver or red or something that stands out a little bit well in those like two primary colors, you can get like an entire set of terrain done in about 2 hours of doing that. And like Chuck said, it's a great palette cleanser for just like I've been working on nothing but AdMech for most of my life, and that's a lot of details. So doing oops all dry brush, no caring about paying like attention to details, is a very fun time.
I think when you get a chance though to like pick out some extra details, like some wires or some lights or something, that really makes a terrain pop. And I think when you play on a board with some terrain that somebody's taking a little bit extra time in, but it doesn't take much, it makes the game that much more fun too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's always something I go back and do. Is like most 40K terrain minus the Octaria stuff has skulls on it, so I like to go back and touch with the skulls. Maybe do some like lighting for various flashlights or floodlights they have on them. But it's very simple just to go back and touch up on, which is always pretty fun to do.
Terrain really like sets the theme of the game. There's a lot of sets that I have painted that I wish I had time to go back and touch up more and add more detail one of these days, right?
Tyler, you've done a lot of sets of terrain. You've done everything from 75 different Octarius ones to Into the Dark to some Warcry stuff. What is, if you could go back and work on one set and really pick out the details, what terrain set would it be?
I really enjoy Chalnath. I think there's like a lot of fun little details in Chalnath. The flat spaces give like lots of places to work texture, but there's also like details and crumbles and things like that really fill it out. It makes it like super neat. The Warcry stuff is always really, really fun also. I truly enjoy that stuff.
Yeah, just my only beef with Chalnath is it's all heavy. I think that lower stuff should be light terrain. But I would like to go back and I'd like to work on my Chalnath stuff too. I've got it all built and ready to go. I just need to take the time to do it.
That's literally what I'm fixing right now is once I get these pieces painted, Chalnath will no longer be all heavy. There's nice light little walls and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's half the reason I picked up that set, was just to have stuff that would match with Charlnath, that would work as scramble piles and light terrain, which will be fun.
100%.
Ironically enough, though, Charlnath is the one box of terrain I don't actually have the proper like big heavy stuff. I've only got the destroyed like half walls, but none of the full story ones.
I think the biggest tip for Chalnath, if you ever do get a set or anyone gets a set of that, is do not build it to the instructions. Create 3 separate large buildings with Vantage rather than following the instructions to build that one giant, awful, unusable piece.
But the instructions say I have to do it that way. I can't deviate from that.
You don't have to do anything the instructions tell you to do. You can do whatever you want.
No, I for sure can't.
I don't know about that, Chuck. I believe in you. One of these days.
Chuck, you can do it. Break the rules, buddy.
No, I won't. Now, having a great set of terrain to play on is super important, but also like being able to get into the game easily is really important. And our compatriots over at Command Point actually put out a video today, the 5 easiest kill teams to play. And I want to chat with you all about this video and see what you think, because I got some thoughts on it. Now, they went through and they picked their 5 easiest kill teams to play. This isn't necessarily the least complex, and we'll link the video in the description. They're not choosing Compendium either, so we'll just go through the teams. They had a couple honorable mentions that didn't make the top 5. The honorable mentions were Nemesis Claw and Legionaries. And I know, Tyler, you're a big fan of both of those teams.
Absolutely.
So we'll just start at number 5. Their 5th easiest team to play was Felgor. What do you guys think about that? Connor, what do you think about that? As you played a little Felgor in the tournament.
Yeah, I think they're a solid team, both like if it's your first box, because as we've often discussed, they're an incredibly fun build and an incredibly fun paint job. Plus, due to the nature of them, you can be a little bit messier on the paint job, which is always nice for like first-time hobbyists. But I think it's a solid team to recommend for first team. They're relatively straightforward. There's a little bit of strategy and like more in-depth skill ceiling you can get with them. But for a basic level, like first time playing kill team, it's simple enough to like understand, go forward and punch people. That's a fun mechanic, and I'll teach you fighting, which is like probably one of the trickier things in this game. So it's good to get down.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good assessment. I think they're like a solid team. They're a single box. They, just come out of the box, and then it lets you practice with that team for the most part. Like, you're going to be able to get in a lot of reps a lot faster. You're not going to be worried about buying extra things. You're just going to be in the game. And, well, it will be a little bit difficult at first to get the positioning and figuring out some of like the strategy with them. Once you get a hang of it, yeah, they're pretty simple overall.
See, and I I'm going to disagree with you both because I think Felgor is a harder one to play as someone who tried to pick them up myself. And then this doesn't mean anything as I'm an idiot, as Connor pointed out. Positioning is a big deal, making sure you're not getting shot. But then also they have a lot of like little synergies between Call the Herd and making sure that you can get your buffs off and being able to like multi-charge with stuff. So I feel like these are, I mean, you can run out there and they've got frenzy, so they die twice, but you're gonna get, I feel like you're gonna be miserable with like a straight up melee team.
I think it's in part worth considering whether the person that's new to Kill Team is entirely new to like this type of game, like mini game, as well as like arguably, I don't know what this would be called, but like something like an XCOM or like a strategy esque type thing. Because if you're somewhat familiar with it, the concepts of the team should be applicable from other games you've played beforehand. But like you said, there is a bit of combos that you got to figure out. Which, if you're brand new to mini gaming or just like this, PvP type of gaming in general, it could be a little bit more of a climb to figure those stuff out. But once you get the hang of it, it's super rewarding, and it's definitely something that like you can figure out in a couple of games, which is always good for a new player.
Yeah, I think that like it's a team that you can do okay with, without understanding many of the mechanics of the game, just kind of getting a feel for it, and then really grow into. I think that there's a lot of expansion on the team, and that really makes them quite a good team to pick up. Like while the initial learning curve may be a little bit steeper if you stick with them for 10 games or so, you're gonna start really kicking butt with them.
Yeah, but see, this is supposed to be the list of the easiest 5 kill teams to play, and I don't know, I just I'm gonna cross Felgor off my list. So um at number 4, they had Void Dancers. So, and I think Void Dancers now, previous to their nerf, they kind of broke a lot of the rules of the game because they had fly and everyone. Now they have flip belts, which they're whatever. But you got to get really close now, and they have a couple of big guns. But what do you guys think about Void Dancers as far as number 4 on the easiest to play teams?
I don't know if I agree with that. I think that Void Dancers have a lot of complexity to them. I think that because they do not so much break rules of the game, but they still change the way that the game is played. That they can be a little bit intimidating. The say death can be a little bit complicated, but they're a solid team. I've seen a lot of people learn on Void Dancers beforehand and then transition to other stuff. I'm sure that with them not breaking as many rules now, you'd have an easier time transitioning to another team.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think the fact they don't break, or I think in the beginning when they broke as many rules as they did, Permafly is obviously extremely powerful. I think it was not a team I'd recommend for someone brand new to the game, just because it could get them into bad habits, such as like if they're relying on the perma conceal spell and stuff like that, or a strat ploy. It's going to be dangerous because you're not going to learn the dangers of positioning mistakes as much. But I think they're definitely a team that's worth like a new player picking up, especially if you're a person that's like into the models. Because a lot of times people into the Harlequin models love the Harlequins, and the number one golden rule, is pick a team you like the look of, and if you're gonna get into them, it's gonna be a little bit of a steeper learning curve, I'd say, than most teams probably, but it's gonna be really rewarding as you climb up that ladder.
Now, number 3 on their list is one that I do agree with, which is Kasserkin. So I like the Kasserkin a lot, obviously. Hit on 4s. They've got 8 or 9 wounds. They can modify their dice and they can just delete a target when they want to. And they've got a couple extra little movement tricks with reposition and stuff. So I think, and it's pretty much a one box team as well too, but they're pretty straightforward. They don't do melee super well. They don't really do melee at all unless you've got Forcadia up and a knife. But I think Kasserkin are a really good team. I think even I've always said you go Intercession and then you go to something like Kasserkin because they're a little more complex.
See, I'm going to disagree with you there, Chuck. I actually think Kasserkin then into Intercession. Kasserkin is my number one recommendation for a new player because I think it teaches you some of the most important play patterns there are. It teaches you good positioning. It teaches you good shooting with really reliable dice rolls, which is always nice for a new player because even if they might get stomped objective wise, it's fun to kill your opponent's models, so at least you feel effective. And I think learning the game on 2 APL is far more important lesson to learn because it teaches you the importance of APL management, like 4 objectives, as well as the importance of a comms. Compared to, I think, starting with Intercession, while you're super strong in strat profiles, I don't think it teaches you looking at your data cards enough. And I think it gets people in bad habits of being a little bit too strong with 3 APL. and I think it's better to start with 2 APL because that's where like 60 to 80% of the teams are.
Yeah, and see, I think the opposite. I think you want the forgiveness of intercession because they do have a 3-up save, they have 3 APL, they can let you do a little bit more, but they're also going to teach you to be smarter with your action economy because you only have 6 activations.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you still have positioning and stuff too, because you have to set up your shots. You're going to be looking for that shoot on death, and it's also going to like really quickly show you the value of your miniatures too, because I feel like when you get out there with maybe and I did it with Caskin all the time. Like there was my mind layer was I was just throwing him out there, and I think that having 6 operatives is going to teach you the value of all of your operatives. So I disagree with you on that one. I think the opposite.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Chuck.
So number 2 on their list is one that I wildly disagree with. Also, I hate. It's the Hand of the Archon. So Torment Grenade. I feel like they're between 2 APL across the board, pain tokens, the elf like bodies. It just seems like a very complicated team to play. I think they are a 1-box team as well too. Tyler, you played a bit of Hand of the Archon. What do you think about that pick?
I think that they're a pretty easy team to play. Like the concepts in them, once you get the core concepts of the game down, are pretty straightforward. They do have a couple more advanced things. Yeah, I think they're like a solid team. They're not too complex. Just really, really solid, I think.
Seems like there's a lot of though like extra like out of turn activation stuff with the pain tokens, isn't there? Because you can, if you get a kill, you get a pain token, you get a free dash. They also have they can get a 6-up feel no pain across the team as well too, right?
Yeah, that's fair. They do have a lot of extra stuff going on, but as someone who came from a pretty complicated game into Kill Team, like I came from both X-Wing, which is a pretty rest in peace now officially, but I came from that, which had a lot of complicated stuff going on, and then also, of course, like played a decent amount of games, League of Legends, Overwatch, stuff like that, where each character has a ton of different stuff going into them. I think Hand of the Archon is a good example of a team that's both 1-box while still having plenty of specialists, that someone that's a little bit more understanding of the idea of each one's going to be a little unique will really enjoy that level of figuring out like the specific role of each unique operative they have. Plus, a 6-up Feel No Pain is a very fun rule to have team wide because sometimes it just really goes in your favor, and you take a plasma shot, only make a single save, and take what should be 12 damage, and it drops down to 7, which is such a feels good.
Yeah, but they have the Torment Grenade, which is dumb.
I relatively agree with that, Chuck. The Torment Grenade is kind of dumb. I don't think it should be able to go through walls, but is what it is. And sometimes having bullshit is fun. In League, I played Leona, whose entire kit is "fuck you." You're going to be crowd controlled for the entire time, and being able to shut down people like that is a very enjoyable thing because it kind of lets you be a dick without being outright rude to your opponent.
Well, and their number 1 choice was another one I agree with, which is Intercession. I've preached about the Intercession multiple times. One, I do love Space Marines, Blood Angels, fanboy, and always love the Sons of Sanguinius. But also, I just think again, like having 3 APL with 6 bodies, 14 wounds, 15 on the sergeant, and 3-up saves. They're a little tougher. They'll let you make some bad plays and still live through them, but to also give you a lesson about like the plays that you shouldn't be making. They're also really easy to collect, easy to paint too. Probably one of the easiest teams to paint because they're just basically like you can rattle can prime them in a color and pick out a couple details and you got a kill team. I'm all about Intercession. That's the team that I bring when I want to teach anyone to.
100%. Right there with you.
So one thing they mentioned in the video is they said no Strike Force Justinian because it's too similar to Intercession, and I disagree. As much as I think Intercession was good for the health of the game by allowing a bunch of players that play 40k, because everyone has Marines even if you don't play Marines, get into Kill Team, which was great for our numbers. There was a significant increase after them. I don't like Intercession that much as a teaching tool because unless you are brand new to like mini games in general, it teaches you a little bit too little of what you need to know for the game. I prefer Justinian because I think one of the most important things in this game is looking at your data sheet and recognizing the relative archetype and role that you want each member of your team to be doing. And I think Justinian does a far better job of forcing the player to look at the data sheet and trying to understand like, oh, this is a melee operative, so they want to be safe the first turn, but then really aggressive turn two. Or like, this is my my heavy gunner, he's going to sit back and blast people. Or this is my sniper, he's able to do some stuff that most other operatives can't. But I can understand why people prefer intercession as well.
I think intercession are just going to be easier to collect too, because unless you can find the Justinian, the Space Marine Heroes box, it's going to be, you're going to be scrambling to put stuff together rather than just intercession. Is everybody's got some intercessors and everybody's got some assault intercessors, and if not, your buddy has them. And I think that, I don't know, when's the last time you taught the game to someone, bud? Because I feel like there's enough complexity and enough like having to look at the rule sheet, even when your stats are all pretty much the same, even having just a little bit, whether your bolter's P1 or you have a bolt pistol or something. I think that like you want it to be as basic as possible.
I teach it somewhat regularly. Ironically enough, most of the players I've taught have played with Strike Force Justinian because they've all had Marines. And like you said, intercession is definitely the easiest to collect of probably any of the teams. But thankfully, if you're a Marine player, you have the models, minus maybe the sniper. That can sometimes be hard. But everyone, Justinian's mostly assault intercessors and normal intercessors, and then just like, any lieutenant or captains on a 40 mil that can substitute the captain. But I think in general, the data sheets, while complicated, if the player is coming from 40K, they're going to be used to having a bunch of different keywords mean different things. So they'll be familiar enough, like, while they'll definitely need some guidance of what's ceaseless versus what's P1, it's a simple enough thing to explain that they'll get it pretty quickly. I think intercession, though, like you said, is very good if the person has no experience with any sort of like wargaming or gaming like in general.
I'm of the opinion that you should really try to memorize your data cards and stuff like that, that you don't want to be looking at them. You want to know your abilities. You want to know what you're going to do and what your people do. And I think intercession honestly does an easier time with that because you get used to the flow of the game. You still have like a couple specialists that have like a couple things that they do, but nothing crazy. Again, as a starter team, Justinian is like more work for less good, in my opinion, and it's already so close to intercession.
Yeah, and I think that if you start someone the intercession as well too, they can grow a little bit into it, because Justinian's basically like you're swapping out maybe one or two guys. You don't have the chapter tactics, and you can grow and you can do pretty good with intercession, and you can feel good about it and feel like you can challenge people. But I think Justinian just is too locked in now. And I'm painting up Justinian right now. As actually one of the things I did this week is worked on the heavy bolter. I just need to do the captain and the sniper, and it's ready to go. And I probably will run that out as a first team, but again, Justinian wasn't one of theirs on the list.
No, like you said, it's just a matter of opinion. All the points you guys made are fair, and I definitely agree with Tyler that you want to be learning your data cards, or not even learning, but memorizing them, which is why I prefer the Justinian, because it's definitely harder to memorize like 6 unique ones versus the intercession where it's just like 2.5, because then you just throw in the grenade launcher on a single guy. But that's kind of why I like them, is just because I think all of them are technically unique. It forces a little bit more memorization down. But regardless, I imagine you painted your Justinian as Sanguinius boys, Chuck?
I didn't actually. I painted them as Black Templars because I started an intercession Black Templar team because I had the Black Templar box, and I like the Dick Tabbards. So I went with the little Black Templar guys, and I'm actually doing that with my scouts too. They're Black Templars.
Nice. Okay, yeah, I remember you talking about that, so that'll be exciting to see.
So, and I do have my top 5 teams that are easiest to play. So a couple of these are the same. I went with Casterkin. I went with Intercession. This isn't necessarily in order. I went with Orcs because I feel like they're a little tough, and they got 10 bodies. They've only got a couple APL, but they can send some APL around. I also went with Scouts because they've been recently buffed, and now they're 10 operatives, and I've heard a lot of people kind of comparing them to Orcs basically too, as far as the toolkit. And then I also went with Legionaries too, because I think they have they can be tough, 3-up saves, only 12 wounds, but they've got some extra tricks with them too. And I think you go Intercession, then maybe you go Casterkin or Legionaries, and then Orcs /Scouts.
I think that's really, really solid. I like that. Commandos is kind of questionable, but I don't know what I'd put in their spot instead, to be honest.
That's what I was kind of beating my head against the wall was I had Gellerpox in there for a minute, but I thought it was another almost Felgor team where it's all melee and a little tricky. But it seems like orcs with between just a scratch and having 10 wounds and having a bunch of different tricks are I felt like they were a little tougher team than some of the other ones.
That's fair. I think orcs are a very solid like first team if you know what you're doing, or maybe like third game team, and then you kind of main into them after you've kind of got the basics of kill team down. One team I questioned to you two: do you think Corsairs deserve to be on top lists? Because I learned the game against Corsairs a bunch. A lot of the new players I played when we were getting into it played elves because they like them, and I think while they're a little bit trickier, I think they're kind of on par of like orcs in terms of complexity, and they offer something that might fit to players that prefer a more like glass cannon playstyle, but still simple enough that they can be quick to learn with them and having some combos that reward like getting into the team.
I think that Hand of the Archon is easier and better than Corsairs generally. If you're going to learn one of the two teams, you should learn Hand of the Archon over Corsairs.
I feel like Corsairs would have they've got a lot of specialists, but they also have a lot of they're super fast between with their getting a free dash every turn. So it might be able to I think that's more of a like a mid-tier team where you want to have a little bit of the movement and positioning piece down, but then move into something like Corsairs.
Gotcha. Okay, because it's like they're one of the teams I like to recommend to people, but I often do it as a second team because, like you said, you can start to recognize the power of it. Like at first, a free dash, while cool, you might not realize how impactful that can be. So, like as a second team, they're a really solid pickup, I think. Plus, they have the advantage of being really great models and a one box team, I think.
They do have really good models. That's actually one that I've got mostly built that I want to paint on. I want to do the synthwave ones that I've been talking about for a while, but I just get like have a shiny new team that I want to paint on. As soon as I'm done with Brood Brothers, I might move to Scouts even too, or maybe Jaegers.
You are a social butterfly for teams right now. In terms of building the Corsairs, how bad are they? Are they hopefully a lot better? I think they were like the second box, and they had kind of gotten it better compared to say like Commandos or Vet Guard, which are nightmares to build.
They didn't seem too hard to build. They went together pretty good.
Yeah, they build pretty easy. My Corsairs are actually one of the few teams I've ever stripped. I got part way in through painting. I was like, I hate this. And I've never gone back to them.
What was the paint scheme that made you
I
quit?
don't know, man. Like it was just not coming together. I don't even remember what it was, but it was bad.
Well, that's fair. Sometimes you got to go back and strip. I feel that on a couple of my teams recently. The second question for building: do you know if you're able to give them all helmeted options? Because I'm a dirty, I hate painting helmets person, or excuse me, I hate painting faces person, and I always like putting helmets on. It's half the reason I went with AdMech.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you just gotta you gotta bite the bullet and paint a team full of heads, and it gets a lot easier. There's a lot of skin on the Brood Brothers, is what I'm recognizing, and my Hearthkin Salvagers is the team that I actually did mostly faces, and I got a lot of practice painting faces on them.
I was actually planning on doing it with the Brood Brothers because bright side, if they don't really turn out looking great, that's okay. They're not supposed to look like normal humans anyways, and you can kind of have fun doing like a slight purplish hue, which helps sell the like not human look. So at some point, I will learn to paint faces, but for now, I'm lazy and I don't want to.
I mean, I think it's a lot less daunting than it seems. Eyeballs suck, but skin is put a flesh tone on it, wash it, pop a couple highlights on, and you're good.
Definitely. If you want to get complex, you can do multiple, spot highlights and stuff like that before you wash it to pop out extra colors and stuff like that. There's like a lot of good diagrams online that show you where to place highlights for faces and things like that for painting. And yeah, just use one of those and go for it.
I actually watched an Artist Opus video on painting faces, and I don't know if you guys saw in the hobby chat, Connor, you can post on the Instagram the face of my Magus that I'm working on. It's turning out pretty good. I think I'm just gonna for the eyes. I got the black part, I got the white dot, and then I think it's gonna go contrast with a for a psychic glow, so I don't have to worry about putting in the pupils.
I can't do the pupil. Like, is anyone going to be able to see the pupil on a model that small? Is anyone going to pick up my mini and go, nice pupil, man? No, that's never happened.
Well, that's the thing is that when we paint, a lot of times we paint and we hold them up to our face or we zoom in a camera, and nobody's gonna Nobody's doing that on the gaming table. They want to look good from 3 feet away. My one thing though is that if you are taking a picture of your mini, please bring it closer. Don't take a picture of it from 3 feet away. Take a picture of it from a foot away so I can actually see your miniature, because most of the time I'm just seeing like most of your arm and your painting desk. This is like a beef Nick and I have when people put pictures online. It's like you have a 2 inch tall miniature and it's 3 feet of just background that you've taken the picture of.
But then that way you can't see the crappy detailing it did. No, I think that's a good point. You want to have it actually be close enough. Another useful tip I saw sometime on like either a YouTube comment or a Reddit comment for like, why do my pictures always turn out worse than what the model actually looks like? Apparently, lower if you can on most smartphones, you're able to do it while taking the photo, but lower the exposure by like 1 or 2 ticks, and that will often really help it take it up, because cameras on phones aren't great at doing very close-up photography.
You should also turn off your macro mode.
Yeah, I always drop the exposure. I will focus it, let the camera expose, and then I drop the exposure a little bit because it's usually blown out the background, blown out the miniature itself too.
Tyler, you said macro mode. Besides sounding like a good name for a band, what is that? Because I don't know that one.
Macro mode is like it's to take pictures of small things. It does like this weird little zoom in thing, and you can disable it usually. And it normally, for taking pictures of minis, I think it really helps.
All right, nice. I'll keep that in mind. Nice, Chuck. That's a great comment. Otherwise, you know where else the best place to get photos is? Coming to a KTC event and having our good friend Zach there, because he's always got a photo booth.
And apparently merch is coming
And
too.
merch. Hey, he said he might actually get merch. So you know what? You're welcome, Internet. We're going to have even more cool.
I mean, I am having Zach work on some merch for me, so it's kind of like his merch, you know. So merch for everyone.
Nice. That sounds awesome. I can't wait to see that.
It should be good. Something a little different than what I normally do.
Nice. That sounds awesome. Very excited. And speaking of both, I guess, Zach and new merch, Tyler, you want to talk about the new design you got out? Because that thing is so cool. Me and Sierra are already planning on buying like 12 shirts of them.
Yeah, it's just a classic Sisters of Battle. What canonist? I don't know her name. The drawing by John Blanche, super iconic. It's an interpretation by this artist named Adeline or Burger Baby online, and she's incredible. I've had this idea in the back of my head for like, I don't know, a year now. And I reached out to her a little while ago after this most recent shirt run and had her do this commission up, and I'm super excited. Who says Grimdark can't be cute, you know?
It's Canoness Viridian.
Yes, Viridian. I knew that.
Sure, I'm pronouncing it incorrectly, but yeah, thank you, Google.
Yeah, Canoness Viridian is the name, and it's a very fun, cute little like pop art, I guess would be the best term to describe it. I don't know. I'm not a proper artist, but it's very cute, very fun, like 2D design, and we'll definitely have a photo of it. And the shirts are coming August, or at least pre-orders are, Tyler, right?
Yeah, pre-orders August. You'll be able to pick them up at Killscream 3, most likely, or no, they'll be shipped out before then. Sorry. I'm getting August and September mixed up. But yeah, we will be sending them out, or pre-orders August, and then production. Actually, that'll probably line up for Killscream 3. So I was not speaking out of line. They will be ready for pickup then or shipping shortly after that.
Well, that's clear as mud. So
yeah, cut that out, actually. Let's
we're just gonna keep it in.
Man.
We're just going with it now. So they are pre-ordering in August. They will be able for pickup at Killscream.
Yeah, pick up at Killscream. I usually do about 6 weeks on my pre-orders just to make sure that everyone gets one, and then it takes a couple weeks for everything to produce. If you're listening to this and you have ordered a shirt, the All Arbites Are Bastards designs in the most recent run of the Pride and other colorways of the KTC shirt have been sent off to the printer. The Burn One designs and the previous colorways, there's a little bit of delay due to problems with stock on clothing, but they should be finishing up here in the next week or so.
So Tyler, are we going to have the new Cats shirts for Tacoma next week?
That's the plan. They should be ready for Tacoma. They should be bringing them up with us to Tacoma, and you can probably grab it from me. I will make an announcement everywhere that you would know to look for a Cat shirt.
Nice. I'm excited for mine. I'm also excited for my Pride shirt too.
The Pride shirt's really, really cool. Each one's going to be a little bit different because we're doing a split fountain pour on that. So rather than making hard lines, it's all kind of blend together in a nice little rainbow gradient. It should be really cool.
Nice.
Ooh, that's going to be super cool. Yeah, very excited for the shirts. I think once these are all in, I will have enough to wear 5 or maybe even 7 unique designs of this Chaos Space Marine Me and Vince from good old Nevada were talking. I think he's from Nevada, Reno, right? That's in Nevada, right?
Yeah.
Reno.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, me and Vince were talking like me and him for Killscream. We're gonna have to like change shirts every couple of hours so we can show off the cool lineup we got.
There's probably going to be exclusive shirts available print on site at Killscream 3 also. So that should be pretty exciting.
So Connor, you're gonna have like wardrobe changes. Is this gonna be like based on how you're doing in the game or just how you're feeling?
It might. I have a different amount of colors that I could try and like do like one of those crappy mood ring type things.
You're just gonna like check your insulin pump or check your blood sugar and see what shirt you're gonna wear?
I might roll the dice for it. That might be fun to do. Otherwise, I sweat enough that yeah, I could probably change shirts pretty regularly and have it like work out.
Well, luckily it's going to be nice and cool instead of a large air-conditioned mall, and we do have changing rooms if you need one, Connor.
Yeah, since it's an old H&M, so
Oh, sweet! I'll pick up some jeans while we're there too.
nice and skinny. All right, let's get some questions from the community. I think these are all Adelaide this week, and actually, they lined up with Connor's amazing news about his impending nuptials. The first one, though, is question for y'all. If you were planning a wedding, which kill team operative would be the best to officiate vows and why?
You know,
I think you gotta go. I'm sorry, I'm gonna jump in here, Tyler. I think you got to go with the what's the leader of the Arbites? I mean, he comes with his own goddamn loudspeaker. Like that's
yeah,
going to be the best right there, right? And he's going to be very official. He's going to
he
like
probably has power to marry people also.
he's probably one of the few actually that and then maybe from the Star Striders because they're a captain.
Yeah, I think a rogue trader can do whatever they want. I think that's basically what the Warrant of Trade says. Like, do whatever, just pay your taxes.
Plus, then you can recreate that scene from the one Pirates of the Caribbean movie where people get married on the ship.
I think the Balefire Acolyte would be a good one. He's clearly like a little magical, probably a little religious, you know? It'd be like one of those weird, you ever meet those people that have like the strange pagan ceremonies? No offense to any pagans out there, but like there's a certain type of person that has the weird ones.
Arbites Proctor Exactant. That's who it is.
Dang it, Tyler! You actually took my answer. I was going to say that because my first answer, someone already put in the comments, so I don't want to steal it. But shout out, of course, to good friend Greg. He said the Brood Brothers Agitator, like the guy with the loudspeaker, which naturally makes sense. And then David said the Technomancer, also a great answer because like a Technomancer would be a fantastic EDM DJ. But otherwise, I was going to say like an Ike,
That's a DJ, not an officiant, man.
but like he could
Do you
DJ
know
and
anything about
officiate
marriages?
at the same time, which is pretty cool. No, Chuck, this is my first time. I've never been married before.
What kind of weird marriage are you gonna have, man? Like wedding. Sierra, do you know that he's trying to get a DJ to officiate your wedding?
All right, everybody in the back, stand up for Connor and Sierra. Let's go.
As long as they play the YMCA, that's all I'm requiring of them.
It's hot to go now. That's the new gay chant anthem.
You're right. I listened to that song. I didn't realize that was Chapel Rowan the other day. I had heard that song a bunch, but didn't realize that was the artist. And then it popped up, and I was like, "Oh, neat! I'm in touch with the youth."
I'm old and not in touch with the youth, so I vaguely know who Chapel Roan is, but I've never heard that song.
We'll play it for you later, Chuck.
Yeah, she's great. So my partner cries every time she listens to Chapel Roan. It's the gayest thing I've ever seen.
Well, I'm gonna have to educate myself.
Yeah, she's the new hot queer singer out there. I think next week we're gonna have the chaperone of Warhammer influencers on the podcast, Tyler Russo.
We official? Is that locked?
Yeah, we're locked in.
All right, you heard it here first.
Yeah,
We gonna throw out some questions for Ask Fox Cascadia to ask Tyler.
yeah, absolutely. $1 Billion Clown Farm. If you're not familiar with them, Clown Motel, other places. Super cool guy. Yeah, he's gonna be chatting Kill Team with us because he's recently got super involved with it.
Oh, nice. That's sick. I didn't know he recently got in a kill team. I've been blitzing through his videos because I somehow had never really like heard of his channel until you mentioned it the other day. But super fun guy. Love his energy. I think my favorite's probably the one where he's having a mini Warhammer game outside of someone's wedding, which is so on brand for Warhammer.
Yep, the painting in the car is great. The airbrushing in the car is a great video. The painting on LSD or on mushrooms also good. Like that one. Relate to that one.
So I have two officiants that would be very good, especially if you or your partner is getting cold feet. I think you bring either the patriarch or the ventriloquistar. And then basically, when it comes to that I do point, they just mind control you and make you say I do.
That's some dark shit, man.
I want to get hitched, okay? I'm going to do what it takes. If I have to mind control someone, I have to mind control someone.
That's fair. You are you ready to be a villain in a Hallmark movie?
I mean, again, yeah.
Chuck does work finance in a somewhat big city. That's like the perfect setup for a Hallmark villain.
I mean, I'm like financing the suburbs, so I need to I did work in Portland for like 6 years in finance, so
Yeah, I mean, like Portland, Vancouver's just basically Portland light. It's Portland with like more taxes.
I did grow up in a small town, but not like hours away, and it wasn't really a quaint town. It was really kind of like a lot of rednecks, and now it's a lot of, I think, white supremacists, but so yeah, I'm almost there.
As for my answer, I was going to say a icon bearer of any kind, probably like a Marine because they're tall, so they can probably get that icon higher than anyone else. But that could be a nice officiant because like I'll get a painting done of us like those like royal couples and rich people do with like the chair and everything. So I think that'd be pretty fun to have on the wedding stage.
What?
So
I don't think he knows how weddings work, Chuck. Like,
I don't think it is either.
where I have never seen a banner holder at a wedding. Just saying.
I'm gonna bring a fucking banner to Connor's wedding now, though.
Absolutely. Like, you're gonna have us as groomsmen, and we're holding fucking giant banners.
Listen, I've never seen a banner at a wedding either, but that would be pretty cool to like celebrate how great we are and fill our egos up.
You're just all about having your ego stroked, aren't you?
100%. I have no self-esteem, so anytime anyone's happy and kind to me, it's like through the roof. I'm like a dumb dog that way.
Yeah, you're the golden retriever of Vox Cascadia. All right, so Adelaide also had a serious question: should the Blades of Cain get a buff, and if so, what?
I don't know, honestly. Like, I think that Blades of Cain are better than people think they are. I think that they're pretty solid. I think they can make a lot of people very unhappy. I think we just don't have a lot of skilled players out there playing them right now. My rumor, what I heard is Chris Baki's bringing them to Tacoma to make people cry with them. So we'll see.
I mean, Baki's got his golden ticket already, so he doesn't need to come and win. So yeah, I think he's on the elf train.
That's fair. I don't have enough games into them. I think I've only played Grant on them twice, and that's the only time I've ever even seen them at a table. But I think they could at least get a 3-up save on their leader, especially because I think Exarchs, or not Exarchs, but like all those guys normally have a 3-up save, and 8 wounds with a 3-up save isn't too scary, especially considering it wouldn't even be an invulnerable one. So I can see that if they need it.
Honestly, I would like to see them get 5 attacks. I think that would be fair. Why do they have less attacks than Mandrakes or...
Wait, they only have 5, or they only have 4 attacks on their melee operatives?
Yep.
That's crazy. Yeah, 5 attacks as well. There's no way in hell they should only be at 4 considering their melee operatives at 8 health. They need 5. My Ruststalkers are 10 health and have 5. Why can't they?
They're aspect warriors, too. They're supposed to be, like, better than Marines at fighting.
Connor, I've got some great news for you, by the way. The Exarchs do have 3+ saves already, and they're on 9 wounds.
Oh, well, everyone else should have 3-up saves then. I thought they all had 4-ups. I knew they were only at 9 wounds, but that's, they're a leader. They have that +1 bonus.
Yeah, but they get a better save even too. But do you think 3-up saves across the team breaks the team, though?
I think on Scorpions, it'd be okay.
I think it's fine. They're only 8 health. 3-up save is fine, but AP1 makes that really crappy, and most AP1 is like a crack profile, which 2 shots them if it, 2 dice goes through. So 3-up save across the board wouldn't really hurt, especially considering it's not even an invul. It might make lasguns suck into them, but lasguns suck into everything, so oh well.
I've heard a lot of people say that the Dire Avengers are the ones that need a little bit of love, but better than they originally were thought to be.
I mean, they could definitely use, balance. They should be as good as the compendium version of them were, in my opinion.
I really enjoyed playing Blades of Cain, and actually, until you guys talked me out of it, I was going to main them.
I think they're a good team, but I don't know if they're for me, which is why I never finished them.
Yeah, I enjoyed them, and I just I think I get disillusioned with them maybe because I was listening to other people say that they weren't great.
I mean, that can happen. Don't listen to other people. Trust yourself. Trust what's in your heart.
Incorrect. Listen to us. We're always right all the time.
Oh, so I should be playing Admech then?
I mean, I think more people should be playing Admech, yes. But I also think, of course, play what you enjoy. That's what matters most.
Everybody's 4th worst matchup.
It's a good odds, man. They're an enjoyable team, and you can answer every team in the game minus 1. So it's pretty enjoyable. But no, I do think the shooty guys. I don't know elf names. The Dire Avengers, whoever they
Dire
are.
Avengers.
Yeah, they should get bounced back. It's crazy they don't. They kind of removed it because they gave them that like slightly better reroll ploy, but you're not really using that all the time, from what I understand of the team. So balanced on a 3-up safe or essentially just a rending bolter, that's fine. Most of the time, you're only bringing 2 as is.
All right. And Adelaide keeps coming with the wedding questions now, too. So this one is actually post announcement of Connor's engagement. So another wedding related question. I already asked who should officiate the wedding, but which kill team operative should DJ and why? Or if you go by Connor, which should officiate and be the DJ? I mean, Castrican comms, it's like music is hitting everywhere. No matter where you're at, you're getting those beats.
If you're the religious type, you could go with the dialogus. That would also make a great officiant too, because I believe they're a minister.
I mean, you also go like Ventriloquist again because you want people to get on the dance floor. He's going to get people on the dance floor. They don't even know it.
Yeah, but he's gonna make people dance to weird music. You know that. Like it's gonna be like fucking noise or like I love my heavy metal, but like heavy metal is not appropriate for a wedding necessarily.
I imagine also that the sound system that he brings is literally just the Space Marine body that's on his banner, and everything has this like weird tinny sound because it's coming through the dead body of a Marine.
It'd be like those people who play their phone speakers on the bus or in public as they walk around.
Is that not cool? Should I stop that?
I have a playlist just for that, so I'll send it over to you.
Oh, nice. Thanks.
Yeah, and it's nice music to play in public. So it's exactly the kind of music you will like, Chuck.
Yeah, what's the kind of music that I like?
I think that you're really into like grindcore, power violence, stuff like that.
Those are all words, and I'm assuming those are types of music.
There's some of the best types of music.
So Connor, you got to pick the DJ. Sierra's let you do one thing in this wedding. She's picked out everything else, but you get to pick the DJ. Who's your DJ?
If I got to choose any person right now, Mr. Worldwide Pitbull himself. But
No. Kill team operative. We're not.
I know.
You're not a Walmart in Alaska. Pitbull is not coming to you.
I sent him an invite. He might accept it.
That's what. Hey, you've heard the thing though, right? Where you just randomly send invites to all the billionaires in the world, and their assistants don't know who the hell you are, so they're just like, oh, Mr. Connor Spanuth is like, he sounds important. He lives in Bremerton. That sounds fancy, and then they send you gifts.
Yeah, like that's half plan we've been discussing. But no, for a kill team operative, I'm gonna go with the Electromeister from the Star Strider team. A, because Admech, and B, because his headset he's got like surrounding him looks like it could be pretty fun as a like light show / speaker like dual system. So that could be pretty fun.
All right, now you've picked the DJ. We also need you to pick which kill team as a group would be the best for the catering.
I'm going to go with the Imperial Breachers because there's that expression of like, that lady runs the McDonald's like the Navy. So I imagine the naval breachers can be pretty good at like catering and stuff. They'd have a system down and in place.
Yeah, but they're also going to be like used to eating really shitty food. So
listen, they don't have to. They can like pick up the food and stuff that we like tell them to buy. They can follow instructions well, If like I'm getting married, I guess that makes me the captain of the wedding, right? Or like me and Sierra the captains. She's the captain. I'm like the lieutenant or something. She's way more responsible. So she gets to pick the meals, and then the naval breachers will carry out the orders.
Man, it's Star Striders. You let the rich people handle that shit, man. Like they're gonna have the best food in the galaxy.
Yeah, I think you go with Star Striders because they're tuned into the weird, slightly incestuous things that are going on Terra in the God, what are the high lords of Terra? They know what's going on with them, and they're gonna know all the good stuff. You definitely want to stay away from like Death Guard or Gellerpox because it's gonna be cheap, but it's not gonna be great.
Yeah, definitely don't want any of those guys even near the wedding. Also, no Felgor because they probably cook really terrible food too. It'd just be like giant, like as much as I love meat, it'd just be giant hunks of meat on a stick like a caveman, and that doesn't seem too good.
I bet they don't even cook raw. Just be like tartar.
Do you think that like commandos would have a very like mushroom heavy menu? Since they're mushrooms.
It's all squig stuff, like that's their primary meat, like what they eat. Also, so yeah.
I feel like you take a squig though. You take a squig, and I feel like you marinate a squig long enough in the right spices and a culinary treat.
Yeah, like squig, like the Indian chicken butter or butter chicken curry, something like butter squig curry. That could be pretty good, I imagine. I think a squid gets kind of bird-like. It's 2 legs and short. It could probably taste similar to chicken.
Did you hear about there's that type of mushroom, okay? And like if you don't cook it, it kills you. But if you cook it, it's perfectly fine. Like it's a very popular kind of mushroom. And there's like the sushi place in Montana that killed like 3 people by serving uncooked mushrooms to people.
I never heard of the mushroom, but I know there's I think it's pufferfish, right? It's supposed to be super dangerous depending on what part you eat.
Yeah, the fugu, I believe.
Yeah. Is that is a fugu a pufferfish, or am I just wrong?
Yeah, that's a type of pufferfish. So
Did you guys hear about I think it was Montana as well too, that ate was it a bear and got brainworms? A couple people died.
I did not hear about that, but I'm sad to hear about a bear getting brainworms. Bears are great, and anytime something bad happens to them in the news, I'm sad.
Yeah, family members were infected with brainworms after eating undercooked bear meat.
is that how what JFK Jr., whatever his name, got it?
No, he got it probably from eating dog in whatever Asian country he was in that he denies. He says it was a goat, but it was a dog. And it was actually Minnesota, it looks like, was where the family ate undercooked meat and then got brainworms. So stick to tofu, kids.
Or just make sure you cook your meat thoroughly. Just be
Stick
safe.
to tofu.
Meat's pretty scary, honestly. Like all the stuff that it can do to you, like prions, like mad cow disease. Whew. No, thank you.
Yeah, you never hear anybody getting like mad tofu disease. They get mad at tofu because it's under seasoned. But beyond that,
yeah, people just don't know how to cook tofu right.
Yeah, you cook tofu right. Tofu's delicious.
Absolutely.
It's the chicken of the plant, chicken of the soy plant. I don't know.
Chuck, what's your go-to tofu meal? As someone who's had tofu before, my brother was vegan for a while, so I would occasionally try it. But I was never like vegan or vegetarian myself. But I always kind of enjoyed the meals. But what's your go-to one?
I mean, honestly, like you take tofu, you have to press tofu, which is important because people like kind of in a bath of water when you get it in the plastic container, you have to take it out and then you can press it between like some plates and some like paper towels or a towel. I have a tofu press because I'm a vegetarian weirdo. And then honestly, like you can slice it up. I throw it in the air fryer even too with a little bit of sometimes oil, cornstarch, and maybe nutritional yeast. But then it's all about like just adding a sauce to it. So I will throw together an Asian sauce with like soy sauce and sweet hot chili oil and like maybe some peanut butter, garlic, red pepper flake, sesame oil. It's one of those things where it's like chicken, where if you just take chicken and you cook it without any seasoning, it just kind of tastes like crap. But you gotta like season it. So honestly, like pan fried, air fried. I make a amazing tofu scramble, an overnight scramble even too, where you take tofu and some Kalamata olives, basil, nutritional yeast, red pepper flake, and let it marinate overnight. Yeah, tofu's way easier. You just gotta, than people think it is. You just have to like take a little time and do something with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Tofu is so good. Lemongrass tofu is my personal favorite. When I was living in Memphis, I was vegan for a while, which was probably the worst and hardest place to be vegan I ever lived.
Sounds like it's like the barbecue capital of the world.
No, for real. I didn't stay vegan while I was in Memphis. I couldn't. I tried, but there's a really good Vietnamese food scene in Memphis, and there's this place not far from me. And if you went on there on lunch, you could spend $6, and I would take about 2.5 pounds of tofu and rice home for $5, and I would eat so much tofu. It was so good. It's probably one of my favorite foods ever. If I could have that right now, I would.
Tyler, if you want some, they're temporarily closed right now. I was gonna say Yuan Su is a vegan Chinese restaurant off of Powell in Southeast Portland. If you're up in the Portland area, so this is temporarily closed. That's a bummer. Yeah, that was like my go. I'd drive down from Vancouver to get it. But also, anybody who's coming to Kill Scream, if you want some vegan vegetarian options, there's a million of them in Portland. Let me know and I can put some together for you. And speaking of that, it's time to plug stuff, guys. Thank you for joining us tonight. Like I mentioned, Kill Scream 3 tickets are on sale right now. CascadiaTabletop.com is where you can go. Tyler, did you get the website, the Kill Scream website pointed there yet?
No, it's been too hot for me to even concentrate on anything. I can't think when it's this hot.
That's fine. We'll get it there, but CascadiaTabletop.com will take you there where you can get your tickets. 3 days of Kill Team in beautiful Portland, Oregon. It has not been burned to the ground, no matter what Fox News says. It's an amazing city and amazing food. We also have a link to some discount hotels at the Doubletree Hilton just down the street, just a couple blocks away. Also, both of those are right on the Max line for you to get easy transport if you are flying into town. Tyler, dicer.bigcartel.com. We got any shirts on sale right now, or we...
No shirts on sale right now. Nothing until beginning of August. There. Another thing I can announce tonight also is that if you come out to Killstream 3 on the first night, I've been able to organize a wrestling event that's happening nearby. So you'll be able to hop on the Max and swing on over there. One of our vendors is doing a wrestling themed game, and he's been working with that community. And so we're gonna coordinate that. So that should be fun.
Well, all of our whole season this year has been wrestling themed. We've given away 5 belts, 4 belts, 5 belts actually, right? And we're gonna have a big ass belt for Killscream, so you can get into the wrestling theme. You can find Tyler at Lowbrow Minis on Instagram. I'm at Painting Cave Minis on Instagram. We're also at Fox_Cascadia on Instagram too. And then Connor, you got social media stuff too, right?
Yes, that is correct. Make sure you all come out to Killscream 3. We are so excited to be throwing this on, and it's going to be a great time. But yeah, follow me at Spanaway on everything.
Also, we are recording this the week before the Tacoma Open. So if you're going to be there, come say hi to us and let us know you listen to the podcast. Come stroke Connor's ego. He's an engaged man. Don't stroke anything else.
Nope, not at all. Only the ego, please.
It should be pretty easy to find me at Tacoma. I'm sure all of y'all, if you're going to be there, will be seeing a lot of me.
Yeah, come on up. Also, we really appreciate it if you would subscribe to the podcast, like it, give us a comment, give us a 5-star rating, do all the influencer things so we can get out there to even more people. If there's anything you'd like to hear on the podcast, or if you want to come on the podcast even too, reach out to us. We've got Ask Vox Cascadia in the Kill Team Cascadia Discord as well too. So come on in and answer your questions. Adelaide is the prime driver of it, and I'm sure she'd love to hear what you want to hear from us too. So Connor, one last thing. You know, it's Tacoma's next week, and lodging is kind of tight up there. Do you know someplace we could find a nice warm
Airbnb.
bed? Airbnb? What's your mom's name? Is that your mom's name?
Nope, no, it's not. Did not realize that expression had a second meaning when I said that, Chuck, and I regret that thoroughly.